Jason, did you see the Destiny 2 Humble Bundle that we talked about last week? It came and went and ended.
I did. I never got a message from you, so I assumed you never bought it.
That's true. I did never buy it. But then there was an email that came out that said, good news, Destiny 2 bundle extended. And I was like, what? Really? So apparently nobody bought it, or not enough people bought it, or something.
Wait, but the email said by popular demand. Are they lying?
How does that work? How does it get extended by popular demand? Like, if it was popularly demanded, you would buy it, right? Like, that would be the end of it.
It's probably, oh no, I missed it. I intended to buy it, but I didn't, and now I still won't, but thank you.
Right, yeah, like, really, come on. So yes, we still haven't bought it. By the time this episode comes out, I think there might be one more day left to get it, maybe, or maybe not. It might be gone. But either way, I'm pretty sure, based on the trajectory we're on right now, that we're not going to end up buying it.
We're not gonna get it.
There's too much else happening in the next soon that there's no time.
Now's not the right time. No. I will say I am spending a lot of time on Humble Bundle's website, though.
Oh, really?
There has been, I don't know if it's recent or it's just been in the news. Not news. It's been on Reddit recently, where like Humble is having trouble keeping Steam keys in stock.
Huh.
Or at least it's bubbling up more often that they run out of keys. And apparently, I didn't know this, but apparently if the purchase was made over 3 years ago, they don't guarantee that they will get keys back in stock.
Oh.
So that, combined with another fact, I recently brought my girlfriend in on my Steam family library, which is really cool, because she now basically has access to almost every game that I have.
Oh, that's cool.
Remotely, like even when she's not here. So it's been like, now that I'm sharing a library, it's been much easier for me to be like, well, I don't like this game, but someone else might. And so I have gone back through. I had hundreds of games that I had not redeemed from previous Humble monthlies. You know, horror games, things that I might not be interested in, you know. And I've just been going through. There's a limit on how much you can redeem on Steam per day.
Oh, really?
I've been going through redeeming, I mean, honestly, hundreds of keys at this point. I am I've been doing 1 month at a time every year. So I typed in January and went from January 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. And I just redeemed everything that I'd never redeemed before. I am up through August at this point. Just redeeming everything on every Humble monthly that has ever happened that I never, I redeemed the stuff I liked, but honestly, hundreds of keys that I just skipped that I am now redeeming. I mean,
I probably also have hundreds of keys that I've skipped, but I don't know if I'm that committed to go back and do that for all of them.
It's been a fun exercise because, I've now noticed that we've been subscribers since 2017.
Wow.
Which is a really long time.
Yeah.
And your tastes in games change over that period of time.
Oh.
I back then I didn't redeem like side-scrolly Metrovania type games. I just didn't care. And now they interest me. I don't know that I've played them, but they interest me. So I've gone back and I've been like, I didn't redeem this game? What? So there's a little bit of that. And then also, honestly, if you have two people's interests kind of sharing a library, it's a lot easier to say, one of us might like this.
That's true. Yeah. It's funny that you're gaming for two here, in a way, because I have similar considerations, now as my family expands. And so thinking of the fact of like having, a kid that may eventually play games on my Steam library at some point in a family. So that's a good point. I should consider that as I think about game keys.
In 10 years, do you think they'll still be playing games on screens?
Games on screens? Yes. Games on
maybe.
Steam? Maybe.
Oh, I think Steam will still be around. I'm just wondering, like, how much further are we going to get into virtual reality or not sitting down at a computer? I mean, maybe everything will be on the Steam Deck by then.
Well, exactly. I mean, if it's on the Steam Deck, you can still play it on Steam, like through this system, right?
Yeah, I would assume. Yeah. No, I think that's I've been thinking about that too, is like, oh, now that I've actually started this Steam family library, like this collection of what's closing in on 1,000 games should be around for pretty close to forever, right? Like that's a really good collection to have. Mm-hmm. It reminds me of the people that have entire walls of like actual physical games, but I don't need an entire room dedicated to this.
Sure. Yeah, I still have a bunch of physical games from like the PS3 era that I have all of the discs and all of the cases for and stuff, and I can't bring myself to get rid of them. So that would be a real struggle. But fortunately, you don't have to have 1,000 game boxes on your shelf in order to be able to play all of these things on Steam.
So how long until you put a Steam Deck in your little one's hands?
I think we're probably going to start with a Switch. I don't know that.
Okay, all right.
I don't know that Steam Deck is really the right.
You gotta get that dexterity started now. Like, sub 1 years old.
Yeah, I mean, this is something we should talk about another time for sure. But like, my strategy of game introduction is something that I've think about every once in a while, and I haven't come up with a strong strategy yet. But maybe we can talk about it at some point in the future. I do have a strategy though for the Switch 2 potentially, so that may come in handy to have another potentially interested individual who could get a Switch 2 base model passed down to once the Switch 2 OLED comes out.
Oh, there you go.
just planning ahead here. Just planning ahead.
That's a strategy.
Welcome back to Pride and Accomplishment. I'm Chris.
And I'm Jason. This is episode 147. Okay, Chris, it's one of those weeks, those weeks where we say, hey, we're going to record at this time, and I have to pull myself away from a game and record for like a couple hours. And then as soon as we're done, I go back to the game. The game this weekend happens to be Warframe.
Oh, really? I never would have guessed.
You never would. Well, okay. So I was dying off on Warframe a little bit. I had gone through my couple of months of, I get into it for a little bit when an update comes out, and then it kind of dies off a little bit. But the way it's actually one of the things that annoys you about Warframe that I don't really mind so much. But the way that the crafting works, right?
Yes.
Is that you have to go and earn the parts, the blueprints, essentially, and it's kind of random, but there's like places you have to go to get them, and it's a little bit of RNG on which part drops, but eventually you run it enough times and you get the parts. Then you have to craft the parts, right? And the parts can take anywhere from 12 hours to craft or 3 days, depending on what you're doing. I have been building up tens of things just sitting, being completed in my foundry, in my crafting station. And they don't cost you anything to have them sit there. You don't need slots for them, and you just let them, you craft them, you start them, and you just let it run, and you just let them sit there. And I have been doing that for months, just letting things build up. I've been going through every Warframe I didn't have, finding it, farming it, and just letting it sit there, waiting patiently for them to announce a double XP weekend.
Because crafting gives you XP for these things?
Because once I take them out of the crafting station, I need to level them. Leveling something for the first time gives you mastery rank, which is essentially your overall account rank. And you can purchase a double XP booster. You can get granted a XP boost, I don't think it's double, but you can get granted an XP boost periodically by other players that have achieved mastery rank 30. And very rarely they will do a double XP weekend. Those all stack.
Aha.
So I've been waiting patiently for this weekend, and they dropped it out of nowhere. I did not know what was happening. I logged onto my computer and opened Warframe, and there was a notification. It's a double affinity. It's a double XP weekend. And so now I have to get through a giant backlog in one weekend, and hopefully make a lot of progress all in one weekend. I've been saving up forever. But I'm excited to do it. It's perfectly timed though, because as we'll talk about in this episode, so much is coming out, and there's so much to do coming up. I'm very happy that this has happened right now, because if it would have happened in like 2 or 3 weeks, it would have been terribly timed.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, how often do they run these? Is this going to be like you play Warframe now and then it's good for like another 3 months? Like,
I mean, 2, 3, maybe 4 times a year.
Okay. So it's kind of special.
It is special. It's definitely special.
Okay.
The other game I've been playing, I have to eat my words a little bit on.
Oh, really?
I was wrong about Raft.
Did it get better at the end?
It got... we're not at the end yet.
Oh, okay.
So I had said last episode that we were getting to a point where I thought it was kind of the end. Really... It wasn't even close to the end. It was the kind of the first step on the journey.
Oh.
So I was totally wrong about it. Still some progression questions and concerns. Still some things I'm not super happy about, how, like resource gathering progression, but definitely opened way up. We have now been playing for over 10 hours, I think. Progressing through the what is the main story quest that we found out about. And it definitely has delivered on a very good survival crafting sandbox.
Oh, cool.
Honestly, one that I highly recommend. Like, I see it now.
I mean, I've heard very good things about this game. So when you were like, I don't know about that, I was a little bit confused, because like I've heard nothing but good things about this game. So I'm glad to see that it got better.
Yeah, it really opens up. I'm at the point now where I'm like, I don't have time for everything I want to do. Like, log into, I mean, it's very similar to the Factorial, right? You log in, you're like, God, where do I even start? What do I do? Like, there's so much. Like, and you have to like plan your playtime on like, what do you want to achieve and what do you want to do? Like, we're doing that now in Raft, which feels really good. Like, that's a really good feeling in a survival crafting game. But there's still little things about, like, you need clay, and the one way to get clay is to go down and harvest and gather it yourself. I so far have not found an easier way to get clay. You don't need very much of it. That's for sure. But at the same time, like, there's no progression on how to make it easier. So there's still little things like that, but I'm finding that the things that are difficult to get are pretty well balanced in how much you need of them.
Okay.
So it's come a long way. I'm very happy with. We're still playing it. We're still playing a little bit every weekend, and I'm still excited every time we log in.
Okay. Well, good. I'm that it wasn't totally wrong. I may have to give it a try at some point. I've never played Raft. I've like had it on my wish list for a very long time, but like it is the kind of thing where I would want to play it with people, so I don't have any excuse or reason to play it and normally. So it would take some kind of special event or something for me to get on with people and play it.
Yeah, it's like you can play it alone, but as with most survival crafting games, like there are things that people are going to like doing, and there are things that people are not going to like doing within the survival crafting game. And playing with at least 2 people makes it a lot better.
Jason, there's a game that's just come out that is getting a little bit of press, I guess I'll say. I mean, I'm not super online in terms of gaming news, but one of the other podcasts that I listen to, Triple Click, did a game cast, or whatever they call it, triple play episode on the new game Avowed, which just came out, and I think it's on Game Pass, which they have been advertising a lot on the Battle.net app, because I think it's a Obsidian game. And I've seen a lot of ads for it, but I listened to this whole episode about it, and it actually sounds like an interesting fantasy RPG, which I usually don't do fantasy RPGs, but this one sounded kind of interesting.
A lot of streamers on Twitch are playing this. A lot of the streamers that I subscribe to are playing this. I've seen a lot of it. I've seen it on the Battle.net. I've seen it on the Xbox app. Like, yes, it is included in Game Pass. the reviews that I've heard of it are that it is fine. Like, it's a good, fine game. Like, it's not a Skyrim. It's not a Elden Ring. It's fine. Which honestly, like, not every game has to be great, and it's getting enough hype, or it's getting enough attention where people are playing it. And I think people are playing it through. I don't think it's going to be like game of the year or anything. I hope I don't eat my words on that one, but like, I don't know. It seems pretty good. It seems grand. It seems, but I don't know anything about it specifically. I've watched gameplay, but I haven't watched like long enough to know like arcs or story or really what anyone is doing or how much variety or customization there is. But you know, I've seen, I would say generally positive, but not overwhelmingly positive reviews of it.
Okay.
This just falls into this category for me where like, I don't need a single player game right now. Like, I have plenty. Yep. I would like to try, if I had unlimited time, I would love to try this. Like, this is one of those games that I would love to just sit down and play for a little bit. But like, I'm glad they're making this stuff, but I wish I had more time for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did come to that conclusion when I was listening to something of the, like, there are so many games that are out there now, and you can only play so many, right? You can't play every game that comes out every year or all the time unless it's literally your job. And even then, because they were talking about, it was when I was listening to the episode where they were talking about how reviewers are always looking for the rush, you know, I need to get through this so I can write my review about it. And this game did not lend itself super well to that because there was a lot of like breadcrumbing but not map marking, right? So it wasn't like an Ubisoft game where they just give you all of the map markers. It was like you kind of had to be a little more you know, immersed in the environment or whatever. And they were saying something about it, and I was like, you know, that's the kind of thing where if you went back to the idea of like when you were a kid, right, when you would get like, you know, a game for your birthday and a game for Christmas or whatever, right? And you had to kind of sustain yourself with what you already had plus like one or two new games every, you know, quarter or something. It's a very different feeling than now where you're like, oh, I have disposable income, but I have no time. And
yep.
And so, but anyway, my thought was for Avowed was like, yeah, you could really get immersed in this world and play through it and understand it and do all the choices matter stuff and work through it. And it's just, that's the kind of thing that's hard to do as an adult compared to when you're a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I find it hard also that it's not single player story games like this. I feel need not only a lot of time, but consistent time. And I think that's the harder part for me is something like Raft, going back to just what we were talking about a moment ago. Like, you don't truly need to remember like people and, you know, the storyline arc to have fun in that game. But I feel like emotional connection to the story arc is so much better if you're playing or experiencing it regularly, consistently, and in a very kind of encapsulated amount of time. I think it's true of books too, right? Like if you start a book, if you start the first half of the book and then you wait 6 months and you read the second half of the book, like, yeah, sure, you're going to get the story, but like, is the emotional connection to the story going to be the same then if you read it all kind of all at the same time, you know, within the same month period or whatever?
Oh yeah. I'm the worst about that. I read a book for like 6 months at a time.
Yes, but as long as you're reading it consistently is what I'm saying. And I think that's the part that's difficult for me for story video games right now is that, yeah, I can dedicate, there are some Saturdays where, like today with Warframe, that I can dedicate 10 hours to something, right? Like all day. I've got my day blocked off. But to say that I can dedicate at least 5 hours a week, not always true.
Yeah. Well, and what do you choose to spend your time for too? Like there's other stuff going on. It's like you might spend 5 hours a week gaming, but maybe not choose to spend it playing God of War, for instance.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And that's really sad because I think a game like this deserves that kind of time.
I really haven't seen that much media about it. Like I haven't seen too much gameplay footage, but I heard them talk about it and I was like, oh, this actually sounds like a neat thing. Like I feel like I'm interested in some kind of Western RPG type of thing at the moment, because I've been playing through a little bit of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I'm still working my way through that, which is going to take forever. But then every once in a while, I kind of get on this kick where I want to try a Dragon Age game or like something like this, where it's not necessarily a JRPG, but it has kind of the RPG elements to it. I tried it with a Dragon Age game back in the PS3 era, and I bounced off of it hard. So I don't know why I think this. Like, I don't know why I think I want to do a high fantasy like Western RPG, but for some reason I'm feeling that urge, and I don't think I'm going to do anything about it. But that's kind of what I'm thinking about.
I mean, I know you're not going to probably jump into it, but I'd be interested in what you think of like a Dragon Age Veilguard.
Yes, Veilguard was actually the thing I was thinking about. Also, it's on my wish list. I keep getting the emails every time it goes on sale.
I was not interested in playing Avowed at all when I first saw it. I like it was an interesting game, and I was interested in maybe watching it because all of the streamers that I saw were playing in first person.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's how, like, it's a first person game, right?
Well, that's what I thought. And then I clicked on another streamer that doesn't normally play Avowed. They actually normally play Warframe. But they were playing this, and they were playing in third person. And I was at first like, is this a mod? Is this a bug? Like, what is going on? And they said, no, this is an option. And I was like, oh. And I don't know that we need to get into it again, like just like why they're different and all of that. But it was so striking to me how much different of an emotional reaction the game presented to me when I was like, oh, third person, like that's the person you're playing as. Like you're like, that's the like the world looks different. Like just the whole experience just looks so different. And it struck me again, like, oh my gosh, like I was not interested in playing Avowed because I just don't care for the combat or for the viewing the world from a first person perspective. But like seeing it played in third person, I was like, this is a game I could play.
We've gone over this a million times, so we don't need to belabor it. But I find that so interesting that that's such a big turning point for you. Like for me, it's just kind of like, yeah, okay, they made a choice. Like that's fine. It's third person, it's first person. Whatever. It doesn't viscerally affect my opinion of a game whether I can play it third or first person like it does for you.
I guess that's what I'm pointing out. Like, listen, we don't need to say which is better or whatever, but like it just struck me again how I can't explain it. I can't tell you. I can't walk you through it. I mean, like I could give a lot of guesses and go back and listen to an episode that we've talked about this more in depth. But I just wanted to note, like, it continues to be such a visceral reaction to the differences, and this just proved it again. It just brought the topic to top of mind for me again. And I'm almost surprised. I'm honestly genuinely surprised how much of a difference it made. Like I could feel the connection to the game actually be different. And again, I don't know why I don't want to get into like all that, but it's amazing to me. It's like it's weird. It's just something I just have to accept about myself, about games that that I like to play, and go for like just accept it.
I've been playing a game that's not first person or third person lately, and it's probably going to surprise you what it is, because I've just started playing it this week on the recommendation of a friend who mentioned, hey, you have no time. You don't have a lot of time to play games. Try this mobile game that I've been playing. And that mobile game is the Pokemon trading card game, Pokemon TCG Pocket on the phone.
I'm not super surprised by this.
Really?
What I would be more surprised is how much money have you spent on it?
$0 so far.
Okay, then I think this is perfect for you.
But not to say that I didn't consider it, other than the fact that their monetization is not great, I think, for what I would expect.
Like unethical or not enticing?
No, it's just that I guess they do have it. I haven't really looked. I hadn't looked closely at their like real money store because I didn't care, but they have like a subscription, which is not unethical, but just not great. Like it's like a $10 a month subscription for this game. And it's like, really?
That's a lot for a mobile game.
It is a lot for a mobile game, but you get a lot more. You get 50% more booster packs you can open or whatever. And then they also have like a premium currency that you can buy, which is whatever. But I don't know. I'm probably not going to ever spend any money on this, and that's okay because that's how I like to play mobile games anyway. So we don't need to belabor the point on the monetization model. But they have a monthly subscription to a Pokemon game, which is weird.
Yeah, that's a little much. So I know very little about this game other than is it like a Magic the Gathering arena where you're like battling cards, like actual like a card game, but in like digital form, or is there a spin on it? Like, I don't know anything other than about this game other than you can open packs and collect cards.
Yes. So you can do all of that. And also you can battle. So there's actually, and you can trade also. So it's actually what you would expect. So normally when you have a game like this, that is, based on some kind of property or IP or whatever that's beloved, you end up finding out that it's really just a cash grab and that they've really done kind of a not great job of implementing it, and it's kind of just, it's cutesy, and you can see all the little pictures of Pokemon and whatever, and that's where it ends. But this, they've actually done, I want to say, probably everything you would expect from a Pokemon trading card game digitally in the modern internet era. Because there was a game, I had it for the Game Boy Color, the Pokemon card game for the Game Boy Color. But it obviously didn't have like online multiplayer or any sort of gotcha mechanics or that kind of thing. It's much more straightforward and about the battling. But this one is much more about the opening booster packs.
So you obviously, since you haven't spent any money on it, you can earn a lot of that in game.
Yeah, I mean they do the thing that mobile games always do, where they give you a lot of easy skips and stuff, right? It's kind of like Warframe, right? Where there's a lot of timed stuff. So every 12 hours you can open a booster pack. But you also get these little hourglass items where you can spend one to reduce the time by an hour. And so you get a lot of those little hourglass items. Like I've opened, I don't know, a bunch of packs, and I've only been playing for like 5 days, which by the math should only give me like 10 packs to open or whatever. But I have opened probably 25 packs or something. Maybe even more. Plus they also have this like wonder pick system where you can get like, every 12 hours you get another little piece of a little heart of stamina that you can pick cards that are essentially they say that they're the leftovers from other people's booster packs, that you can randomly get one of the cards that somebody else didn't get or something. I don't know how that really works, but it's basically just a 1 out of 5 pick a card blindly from a set. So it's it's a nice little extra way to get
reduces the randomness a little bit.
Yeah, and then there's also a shop where you can, every time you open a booster pack, you get some kind of currency, and you can use that currency to pick specific cards out of that booster pack's like draw pool. If you're like really looking for this one more card, you can basically target it specifically.
One of the big things that they show on their advertising for this game is how you open the packs. Mm-hmm. Like they're, I don't know, really.
Oh, it's very shiny.
Okay.
It's
like swipe across the top of the pack to cut it open or whatever. And
yeah, I have spent actually a lot of experimentation time with the opening of pack experience, because as you swipe across it, it has like a little like tear, right? There's like a little like corner that as if you had physically ripped it. So like it's got a little like tab, like that it was, because if you ripped it in real life, it wouldn't be perfectly straight. And so they kind of, emulate that with the full render 3D pack that you're ripping open in the game. And I've tried different ways where I would like go slowly and try to like get it to, rip off without going all the way across the booster pack top or whatever, just to see like how good is the simulation. And it turns out what I think is that they have like 4 or 5 profiles of rip, that they, that you can have. And you basically just get one of those. And so the rip pattern always has to be
Mm-hmm.
one of the pre-mades. Like you don't get to like draw like a squiggle and make it rip, open the pack in a weird way.
I find I'm not surprised that you've done that experimentation, but I think it's funny that you did that. That is absolutely something you would do.
Well, you see this thing and it looks really cool, and you're thinking like, how much engineering effort did they actually put into this experience? And it's pretty good. Like, it is pretty good. And the fact that they have these little details is pretty cool. The other cool detail about opening packs is that you can flip the booster pack over so that it's like showing the backside of the booster pack, right, where the like little seal is down the back. And then you can rip open the top. And then all of the cards that you open are upside down, and you have to tap them once to flip them over to reveal what they are. And then you tap to dismiss them, and then you tap and flip, and then you tap and dismiss. Anyway, it's a clever detail.
So that you like view one card at a time kind of thing, or?
Well, you always view one card at a time. Like, they basically open up in a pack, just like you pulled them out of a booster pack, right? And I don't know if you remember booster packs, but, you get this little stack of 5 cards or whatever it is. And they would all, in this case, they're all face up, and then you basically just tap them to dismiss them. But and if you do it backwards, you would tap them to dismiss them. The next one would be upside down. You tap it to flip it, then tap it to dismiss it. So it gives you another extra little dopamine hit, I guess, if that's what you want. Really, it's just inefficient.
Yeah, how well? I mean, the point of this is to battle, right? To play the card game, and
maybe
have you? Maybe. Okay. Tell me more about that. What does that mean?
I mean, the point of this is to battle, I guess, but it's also to collect all of the cards, because collecting cards is fun, right? I mean, in some weird way.
So is that what this is about? Is it about the cards, or is it about actually getting to play the cards? Because in Magic the Gathering, or in like, what is it, like Hearthstone? Like, the point of the game is to play the game.
Right.
The card opening experience is important and fun and, exciting, but like, the point is to play the game. Is that not what it is here?
I would say that the game, so like, we haven't talked about the actual, game part of the game yet. The game, like the battles, I guess I'll say, they have both solo battles and online battles. Solo battles are cool because you just play against a faceless computer, and it tells you what deck they're going to use. So it's kind of like going against an NPC, and it's like, oh, they're going to use a grass deck. Okay, let me get build a fire deck or use my fire deck and whatever. But then if you play versus, it's match made. So I don't know how they do the choosing of who you play against. The problem is that the battle system, if you ever have played the real Pokemon card game, the battle system here is a little bit more simplistic. So like, you used to have energy cards, which is similar to Magic, where you have like energy cards that you have to attach to to your Pokemon and stuff, and or to your monsters and whatnot. And then you have to have enough energy in order to spend it to do your thing. And the Pokemon card game had that too, where you would have a deck of 60 cards, and I think you wanted to have like 15 or 20 of those be energy, if I'm remembering correctly. So that as you were drawing your cards, and you would draw however many cards, and I forget all the rules, but anyway, you would basically get lots of energy, and you could play 1 or 2 energy per turn. And that was the whole thing, and you'd attach them to the Pokemon and such. This game, the energy comes, and it's just like every turn you get 1 energy.
Okay.
And you can specify on the deck up to 3 types of energy that you want it to work with, essentially. And those are, I think, randomized. So there's no way to there's no energy cards. It's just every turn you get 1 energy. And I think there's some modifiers where you can get extra energy sometimes and stuff, but it's slimmed down in that way. And also you only play with 1 active Pokemon and 3 bench Pokemon, where I think in the real one, it was 5 bench Pokemon, just like the games. So it's like a simplified version. The other thing is, if you're playing solo against the computer, there's actually a checkbox where you can have it auto battle. Like, you can have it use your deck and play for you, which is weird. I mean, it's nice though, because you can just be like, yeah, I know I'm going to win this, I'm pretty sure anyway, and my hands are full, I got other stuff going on. Let me just put this on auto battle, and then you can win and get the rewards as if you had played it.
So that's really where I was going with this. There are awards or dailies or missions or whatever to actually play the game. Is that an accurate statement?
There are some of those, yes. There are missions. I haven't really figured out what the reward situation is for like matches, other than kind of bragging right profile badges. It doesn't seem like you get a lot of like cards and stuff from playing battles, which is kind of meh. Like, because the main reward system should be cards. Like, the thing you want in this game is cards.
This sounds very similar. Instead of cards, I mean, like Pokemon Go is all about collecting Pokemon. in the world, right? Like it's a little bit more like go
physical,
out and collect. Yeah. But like the whole point of that is, at least from what I understand, is to collect Pokemon or to power them up or to like get better ones or to get shiny ones. Whereas this seems to be about collecting cards. A little bit like in Pokemon Go, there's raid battles and boss battles and, you know, whatever, and things that you can control. And in this one, it seems like, yeah, there are battles that you could do, but in both games, it seems like the collecting is the point, which I guess follows Pokemon's like motto of gotta collect them all. So I guess that's the point.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think this has a better collector story or collection story than Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go is, I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, I get it kind of, but like the battles in Pokemon Go are kind of pointless and they don't really make sense. And or at least they didn't when I played it the year that it came out. Maybe they're better now. Maybe. I don't know. But as far as I remember, Pokemon Go, you basically just go places and spin the little spinners on the Pokestops and like catch Pokemon, which is, okay, fine. Like that's fun once or twice. This is more like, you can every so often you can open these booster packs and then you can collect them all and you can like have something you're really looking for. And there's a fair chance with all of the booster packs that you're going to get any of those things. So like, it's less of the like, I don't live in, England, so I can't get the, Magnemite or what, I don't know, whatever the geolocation locked particular Pokemon were. Like that felt much more restrictive. And this is more egalitarian of like, I can, if I open this pack, I might have a chance at getting the shiny Mew or whatever. So it feels a little bit better, I think, on the collector side than Pokemon Go.
Okay, well, I'm convinced to try it. How's that?
There is a fairly robust social system, I will say. Like there's a friends thing where you get like a friend code because it's Nintendo. You actually log in with your Nintendo account, which is nice. You don't have to create a separate account. You can use your Switch like Nintendo account, which makes sense. But then there's actually like a friends list and there's trading. So you can actually trade specific Pokemon, like make trade offers to your friends and stuff. And you can also do private battles where you battle your friends specifically. So, it's decent. Like I said, it's got everything you would expect from a game like this on a phone in this day and age.
I'm convinced to try it. It sounds like something that you could pick up every now and then and just do a little bit with. So I'm going to try it.
Yeah, it's totally that kind of game. Like it's absolutely. And that the other piece is if you are committed not to spend any money, which I think you would be, and I think it'd be easy to do, then it automatically naturally time gates you to being like, okay, you can open one pack every 12 hours. So you could just be like, okay, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. I'm opening packs, or, they'll sit there. I think you can have like two packs banked up or whatever. So you could, every just once a day, like just for 5 minutes, you could open your 2 packs and be done. Like, and just kind of pad out your collection and then eventually play some battles for a little while and then go back to just not playing this game. So it kind of has that kind of vibe to it, which is nice.
Okay, I'm down.
You're not gonna get sucked in and find that it's 6 hours later and you've been playing Pokemon cards because it's not that deep of a game.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, I have enough of those.
Yeah, exactly. It's no Balatro or Slay the Spire. I've been out of the game for a little while, but like, is there anything going on? This week maybe in World of Warcraft, I hear.
Oh, no, just the next patch is all.
Oh, neat.
I actually resubscribed to World of Warcraft last week.
Oh, wow. Nice.
I got in and played around and like reminded myself how to play, updated my add-ons, kind of did like the pre-launch launch. Did a couple delves, right? Because those are really easy to do alone. Realized that there was no reason for me to do delves because my gear was higher than that, but not like it. I was in that kind of like perfect zone where like delves were too low, but I didn't really want to do M+. 2 weeks before the next big patch, but no, the next big patch comes out February 25th.
Yeah, so it should be out by the time that you're listening to this episode. But we're recording a little bit early, as we do. So yes, 11.1.
Yeah, and I guess the bigger announcement is Season 2 actually starts March 4th.
Right.
So Mythic Plus, I think that's when delves start, if I remember correctly, or at least the higher level delves, and the raid comes out.
Yeah, I think there was like a week where the delves were, everybody was like, oh, don't use your items in the delves because delves are going to get better next week. So yeah, I think you're optimally not supposed to use the extra keys or whatever in the delves until the second week.
Can I just say that, like, before we get into anything else, I'm so impressed. Like, I'm now starting to see the cadence, and maybe the cadence is faster than it used to be, but like a new raid now again already, like full raid bosses, bunch of raids, like I don't know, I'm just really impressed with the cadence of this game. I guess when you pay $15 a month, you can employ a lot of people to make a lot of content, but I'm impressed with the cadence of content of this game.
Interesting, because oftentimes people are complaining that there's no content to be had, or not enough content to be had, especially towards the end of an expansion.
Well, think about the other games I play, right? Think about Warframe, think about Guild Wars 2, like the cadence of even Destiny at times, like the cadence of content was not as good. Even within the first season of the expansion of the War Within, like there was a couple of different minor updates. They released an entire another zone, Siren's Isle,
yep,
or something like that. Which again doesn't have a ton, but it was still like a weekly quest, and it was like things to do, and it was things to level up, and it feels like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, it's more than Guild Wars, to be sure, where they just kind of throw something over the fence like every quarter, barely. And then once a year, they kind of really put the big story stuff out. It's definitely better than that. I mean, or more frequent than that. Raid tiers are cool. Like, new raids in WoW are like the thing, right? That's why, I don't know, that's why I like to play it, because you kind of get to work together with a team to get good at these bosses and beat them and stuff, and then they all change, right? And the dungeons all change and all that stuff changes, and so it's relatively evergreen in the kind of stuff that you're doing. It's the same game, but it is new content.
Yeah. I listen, I think there are people out there that play more than I do that want even more, but
yes,
I guess what was season 1? It was like 16 weeks or something, maybe 20 weeks, and then you get all new raid bosses. I think you should be happy with that, because
right.
I think that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and we mentioned it before with our kind of looking forward episode, but at least on their current roadmap, they're planning for summer to be the next raid, right? 11.2, the next one will be probably in, I don't know, July or August of this year. So like, this is going to be another 4 to 6 months, basically, until another raid comes out with more new bosses.
Yeah, and then they're doing a big, they're doing the next expansions announcement around then as well, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Late summer, they're going to do the expansion reveal, and then I'm assuming that there'll be about a year of time before it comes out, but maybe they could surprise.
I don't know that that's accurate, Chris. I think we may see an expansion in like March of 26.
I don't know, because I think there's probably going to be in like January of 26, the 11.3, like the third raid wing, usually, or raid tier. Maybe not.
Okay,
though.
fine. But then let's see. No,
because that will be the third. So it won't. Usually there are 3 raids per expansion. So then you're right. Maybe in March or April, like springish time frame, they could do a new expansion.
Yes. Yeah. Because they'll do a short season 4 or whatever, and like, because they said 18 months. So what's 18 months from the launch of the War Within, or 20 months from the launch from the War Within?
That would be about right.
So March, April time period, like the next, like the pace of content is good. I think
that is good. It's better than it has been too, I think.
Well, yes, and the expansion coming out faster is something new for sure. I will say also the story continued from where we last talked about it. We haven't talked about it in quite some time, but there was some more story. It was good, and I was happy with it, and I am very excited for more story. I don't know how much actual like main storyline we'll get in this next patch. Obviously, we'll get new raids and some other stuff, but I guess I don't know how much like cinematic story we'll get in this next patch. But I am excited. I like a whole new world, a whole new like there's a whole new like mode of travel, the drive DRIVE system, which is essentially dragon flying or dragon riding on the ground.
Oh.
With drifting and going really fast, and so far it's isolated to just one zone, but you know they're building races that you can drift on, like you drift and speed and you go like it's like Mario Kart but in freaking World of Warcraft. I mean, I'm impressed. I think it's really cool, and I'm excited for season 2.
Yeah. I mean that sounds really cool. I haven't seen a ton of content about it. I need to watch a video and get the overview. And see kind of what's coming, but I have seen a little bit about this drive thing. It looks kind of neat. I do like those kinds of like PvE mini game type things that are like, if they're well implemented and fun. Like sometimes I'll spend a decent amount of time at the Dark Moon Fair trying to get good at like the, you know, launch yourself out of a cannon mini game. Like that's always a fun little thing. If this is like that, then yeah, that could be cool.
You want to know what I'm most excited about in season 2?
What?
Other than the raid, I always like the raid bosses. I think they're cool, and I think the raid boss design has gotten better over time. I think Queen Ansarek was really, really cool. But no, the you know how they introduced the campsite login screen, whatever,
yes.
The warband. Mm-hmm. They're finally introducing new backgrounds that you can earn via achievements.
That's cool.
I'm really excited to earn a couple of those. It gives me like, I'm not into collecting mounts. I'm not in collecting transmog. But this seems like a kind of an achievable, a tackleable kind of thing for me that, you know, I'll just turn it on random and I'll see everything that I've ever collected every time I log in. I really like that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I saw this and I was like, ooh, this is cool. Like this is nice. For them to be able to kind of do multiple environments and stuff. They obviously were going to do it when they first, you know, said that they were, but like, or when they first like announced this thing, it was like, clearly they're going to put more content to that. And I'm glad we didn't have to wait for an entire expansion to get that implemented. Cause that's always the risk is like, oh, we put this thing in one expansion and then wait 2 years and we can have, you know, earnable, customizable things. So it's nice that they're giving more rewards and stuff you can earn. Are they hard to get?
Some are harder than others. One of them was you have to finish the Delver's Journey.
Ooh, that's a lot. Delves.
That's a lot of delves, right? Like you basically have to do your weekly delves every week. So that's going to be tough. But achievable. I don't remember where the other ones. I think a couple of them are pretty easy. Like 1 or 2 of them are pretty easy. There's going to be 5 total now, I think, including the one that we already have. So I'm excited about the spread. I'm excited about like some of them being really easy, and then obviously some of them really taking almost all season to earn. Because I don't know if I'll get them, but it's something to chase at least.
Yeah. The other exciting thing that comes with a new patch and a new season is new Mythic Plus dungeon rotations, which is always fun.
Yes, and the way they're doing it now, all 8 of them are going to be different.
Yeah, it's going to be the other 4 from the War Within, and then a new one that's coming, Operation Floodgate, that's a War Within dungeon that's new for this expansion, or for this patch. And then the return of the Motherlode, which was a dungeon from BFA, I think, Battle for Azeroth. And which was really good. It was a fun dungeon, really hard last boss, depending. Like the timing could be really tricky on that one. And then there's 2 more returning legacy dungeons that they haven't announced yet, which is also a fun little mystery.
Oh, I think they have now.
Oh, okay.
I think they have now.
Well, they hadn't announced it when I saw this article. I
don't know what they are because but they've been testing them, and I'm pretty sure they're all announced at this point. I don't know them, and this is part of the fun for me is that all 8 of them are new for me.
Yes, okay.
Or I guess the dragon the War Within ones I know, but I don't know at the Mythic Plus level. But it's kind of nice for me. Like I'm experiencing previous expansions dungeons for the first time. I've never done them. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it looks like I found a list. They have Theater of Pain from Shadowlands, which was fine. and then Operation Mechagon Workshop, which was half of the Operation Mechagon Super Dungeon from Battle for Azeroth. So that'll be fun.
They have shaken up the Mythic Plus scaling again. I don't know if you've seen much about that, but they're making it, I'll say overall, they're making it easier, but they're raising the bar for achievements. They've added a 3,000 IO achievement.
Okay.
But it should be much easier to do like 12s than it used to be in season 1.
Yeah, I didn't do hardly any 10s even the first season because they were so much harder and I didn't have a consistent group to run with. So it was hard to like break into that. So
they are lowering the curve. So I think in season 1, it was 10% more health per level. It is now only 7% more health per level. Like no affixes get introduced until level 4. You get crests at lower levels now. So they're shaking up the ladder a little bit. In hope, really what they said they're trying to address, and I didn't experience this because I didn't play for long enough, but apparently the pugging community was really, really bad in season 1. Like it was really hard to get a group, even more so than normal, particularly if you weren't one of the quote meta classes. So they're trying really hard to shake that up, and I appreciate that.
I wonder if they would attempt a match-made Mythic Plus at some point with very narrow item level bands or something to like, I don't know, do something where it's like you can do up until whatever item level it gives you the ability to search for Mythic Plus level whatever, and they would determine what those are. And so if you want to go outside of the box, then you have to do a like it is today, you have to do a manual party formation. But like if you could somehow kind of guarantee that everybody was going to be at least some item level and that like the Blizzard algorithm would pick a reasonable setup or whatever, I don't know if that would work, and like have some really stiff penalties for leavers. I don't know if that would work, but that would be an interesting kind of attempt anyway. Or maybe it would work like up to Mythic 8 or something like that, so that you could get a little bit of street cred having finished some lower dungeons kind of thing before you kind of go off to the big ones.
Right. They want to see like if people can see like, hey, yeah, you can get into groups, no problem. And you're succeeding at +8s.
Right. Exactly. Like you can do stuff that's this hard with other people that are random or not. I mean, maybe that doesn't even get shown, but like you aren't at the whims of a party leader, basically.
Right.
I don't know. It's got to be going in that direction.
I'm hoping that just the overall scene improves. Balance will help with that. Like dungeons not getting as hard as fast. One of the biggest problems was that I think at tier 12 there was an additional affix that like jumped the difficulty, and they're trying to smooth that curve a little bit, where like from an 11 to a 12 is not a jump in difficulty anymore. It's just a continuous curve, or a gradual curve. So that should help as well. But the other thing they're doing, and this is apparently brand new, I don't know, but if you get all of your dungeons to a +12, your key will never degrade below a +12 anymore.
Oh, nice.
If you get all of your dungeons to a +13, they will never degrade to below a +13 anymore. So they're saying like that will encourage people to push further. That will encourage people to try people a little bit more, because the risk is, it's not just like the risk used to be if you failed the key, you had to then go boost your key again. You had to go level up
do
your
2
key
dungeons.
Again. Yeah, you had to do 2 dungeons. And now it's just, if you get to +12s, you should try your hardest to get to +13s on everything, because it will never degrade below a +12.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But is that only for your own keys, or is it, other people's keys help you do this?
So you can earn the +13 on other people's keys.
Okay.
Right. But the degrading, is only your key. So, right. So if I do all +12s with you, my key will never go below a +12 again.
Okay. I like that. But it's only starting at 12s.
It's only starting at 12s. Yeah.
Okay. I wish that would be more everything.
Which should be significantly easier this season. Like, that's the other point of this is like 30% easier.
Yeah, okay, I guess.
I expect like pugs to get up to like plus 10s fairly quickly, like very quickly. Whereas last season plus 10s were, I wonder, and I haven't looked into this. I wonder if they're going to move what you need to get portals.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Huh. Because it was 10s before.
It was plus 20s before they made the squish.
The squish, yeah.
And then it was plus 10s. And plus 10s are significantly easier this season than they were last season. So I wonder if they're going to move that.
Yeah, I could see it being a 12 if they're moving the kind of like floor up to 12s. I could see it moving to 12. Sense. But it does look like, at least from the Wowhead article, that it's still going to be 10s, which is also nice. I mean, it's like the portals are whatever, because they practically give you a portal anyway.
Pretty close.
So like it's not really that big a deal. Like, 'cause they give you close enough, so it's really just a convenience thing. So maybe I don't care that much that they leave it as a plus 10.
You can also earn a portal to the raid now.
Oh, really?
There's a raid renown track, which I think is really interesting, and I like. It is locked, like it is gated, so you can only get one level per week. But that's how they're going to do the raid skip. That's how they're going to do like giving you like tokens for raid gear, like a mercy system, or a pity system. But like I think the highest one of some of the higher levels you can earn a raid portal, which is cool. I don't know. I like this a little bit better. It's less quest based and more like deterministic kind of. It's in a progression based kind of thing, which I like. I'm a little worried about like you have to raid every week for 20 weeks to max it out, but I don't know. Maybe it won't be that bad.
Does LFR count?
I don't think LFR counts, but I think normal does.
Okay, because if it works with LFR, then that makes it at least doable.
Anyway, I'm really excited. This is the first time I've kind of experienced this like seasonal turnover that I've been super involved with. I'm ready for it. I've started researching it. My big goal for this season is to get to potentially main a DPS instead of a tank, which I know is a weird transition, but I just didn't play a DPS at all last season, and I think that contributed a lot to me not wanting to play as much because there's a lot of pressure on a tank, and particularly last season, from what I see from content creators, it sucked to be a tank. It was hard. There were a lot of tank busters, and like there was a lot of blame being passed around on tanks. And I don't usually experience that with friends, but like you still feel like bad when you fail. So it's supposed to be a little easier to be a tank this season, but also like if I just want to play not super like hardcore, do raids every day, like I just want to sign up as a DPS and maybe get in when I get in and don't when I don't. I'm going to try to play a little bit more DPS this season.
I think that's the only way to do it if you want to raid, if you're not going to have a really consistent raid group, because not very many raids are looking for like pug tanks. So I think you'll have a much better time dipping in and out week by week if you're not kind of the thing that's the key to making the raid go.
Yeah. I wish I could commit every, twice a week. I don't think I can do that.
It's hard. Yeah. I'm in the same boat now.
So you haven't resubscribed. Are you planning to?
Yes, I am planning to. I am hoping to figure out some kind of time. I'm pretty sure my playtime will be curtailed significantly to where it was, but I am hoping to carve aside, a raid night or two per week to be able to just kind of at least get into it and have some fun.
That's good.
It's tricky because with life stuff and work stuff, even I've got a lot of evening meetings now with working with people around the world, so it's challenging to find the time. But I'm gonna see what I can do. Maybe I'll join like an Australian guild and play in the morning, my time.
There you go. Yeah, Saturday
with
morning.
A lot of lag.
7 a.m.
Perfect.
One thing to add to the scheduling woes, so my girlfriend does raid consistently. She has a raid group. She's very lucky that she has a very good group, in my opinion, that she raids with every Tuesday and Thursday. The first Thursday of raid is the day that Split Fiction comes out.
Yes.
So we have timed that day for work, Split Fiction, and raid down to the minute.
Wow. Okay.
Because we are playing day 1, and then day 2, Friday, we are planning to spend all day after work playing Split Fiction. I am so excited. It is just around the corner. I'm not disappointed, but it just smashes right up against season 2 of World of Warcraft. But that's okay. It's all right. We'll
but
play
Split Fiction. Yeah, it requires 2 people every time you want to play it. So you both have to be on the same schedule and both have to be available and both interested in whatever. And also it's a contained thing that will end at some point, whereas the raid will take a while. Yes. That's what I'm kind of leaning on right now, is that we can play Split Fiction. It won't consume our entire life like, World of Warcraft could. So we will play it. I will enjoy it. I've seen a couple of reviews. I've seen the new story trailer is out. I've watched that, which I usually tend to stay away from. It didn't spoil anything, so that's fine. Or at least I don't think it did. I'm really excited for it. And it will be out in just a week. Wow. That is coming up really fast, because we just found out about this game at the Game Awards in December, and now it's here.
I know. I want their next one. Are they started on the next one? Because they better be.
I don't know. You got to have that guy, that studio head guy that's kind of a lot. He's gonna and have a new game coming out.
I need them to release one every 6 months.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't either. But how long has it been since It Takes Two?
I want to say it's been 3 or 4 years.
2021. It's been 4 years. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So mark your calendar for 2029, and you can have the next one.
Oh, that hurt.
Yeah. Don't think about how old you'll be in 2029. It's just not pretty.
No, I don't. Okay, no. All right. Well, I have to get back to Warframe. So we got to wrap this up so that I can get on to my grinding.
Of course.
That I have been building up. WoW Undermined coming out next week. Split Fiction next week. More Raft, more Warframe, and Pokemon TCG Pocket in between it all. You can get in contact with us by joining our Discord at discord.pnapodcast.com.
If you want to find any of our older episodes where Jason has described his love for third-person shooters and other games, you can visit our website at pnapodcast.com. That's P, the letter N, the letter A, podcast.com.
If you're enjoying the show, we would love if you could share it with some others that might enjoy it as well.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll talk to you next time. Jason, I know I don't play a lot of Dota 2 anymore. I know we just spent this whole thing talking about how there's too many games and not enough time. But I did happen to open my Steam client and click on Dota 2 briefly. And they told me that they had an update this past week, which they do from time to time, that totally redoes the whole Dota map. Again.
What? Again?
Yeah, again. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. This is significantly changed.
Uh-huh. Yes. So they have, we'll put it in the show notes, put a link. They have this new update called the Wandering Waters Update 7.38, where they have basically said that, the river that goes down the middle of the Dota map has now overflowed its banks or whatever. And so they put water in the safe lanes, basically. And then they put a little river that kind of goes diagonally through the jungles on top and bottom. So there's this marshy thing, kind of like League of Legends, I think, has something kind of like this. But there's this body of water that goes along the north and south edge of the map, which is kind of interesting. And then they put a bunch of stuff in the water. They put a bunch of shrines and extra stuff to interact with on the outskirts of the map.
This is interesting. I find it very interesting that they're willing to play with the map this much.
They only do it once a year, once every other year. So it's not constant. But they did do this a year or two ago.
It's risky. It's daring, right? It can really shake up things.
That's true. It does definitely totally change the meta, but keeps the bones of the game the same. which is kind of nice. They've moved Roshan again. So like Roshan used to be in only the one place, kind of in the, kind of the northwest corner of the middle of the map kind of thing in the river. And then they moved him to the far outside corners, like the top left and bottom right corners. Now they've kind of split the difference where they've got 2 Roshan pits in the river in the middle where he kind of switches between them, which is interesting.
He walks between them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you can, if you catch him, you might catch him not in his lair.
Yeah, but I don't think you can fight him in the walking period because it says he tosses aside anyone in between. So I think he's kind of in like just a rampage state. I don't know. It's really cool. They've got new like NPCs, new like creeps to fight that like upgrade and evolve over the course of a thing. They've got a new currency where you craft neutral items now instead of finding them, which I think is really cool to add some agency during the game instead of the like, I don't know, the thing where you just have to like randomly find the neutral items. It looks cool. Makes me want to play Dota.
Yeah. With what time?
Yeah, that's the problem. Also, there's quality of life. I don't know if you scroll down far enough on that page. It's not that far down, but you scroll down a little bit. There's a bunch of quality of life stuff that looks really, really good, including a Roshan timer.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice for new people.
Exactly. Like all this stuff, it's like if I'm a casual player, I just want to like see what's going on. You can mark stuff for selling now, even if you're not near a shop, meaning that it'll automatically sell the next time you're in range of a shop, which is a great new thing.
That's nice.
It's not as much a thing if you play Turbo all the time like I do, but like it's nice if you're playing standard Dota. So anyway, it's very cool. Like very cool that they're still working on Dota 2. Like I will be sad the day that they're like, yeah, we're shutting it down. I don't think that's anytime soon, but
they must still be making money on it, right?
Yes, they must be.
I'm wondering. I wonder what the market share between Dota and League of Legends is.
I think League is way bigger.
I mean, I agree. I just wonder what like how much has Dota penetrated that like player base?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think there are a set of diehard people that play a lot of Dota, and then there's a lot of people that just play casual League. Is my impression, but I'm in the Dota camp firmly.
Very cool. When's the last time they have done like a new hero?
They had a new hero in the fall. I think they came out with that one that they announced at the International the previous year. The one that's voiced by John Delancey. The I don't know. He's like the Ringmaster. That's what he's called, the Ringmaster. He came out, I think, in 2024. But they don't do that. They do like one a year now, if that. They used to do them like one a quarter, but now they have over 100 heroes. They don't really need to keep going.
Yeah.
It's nice to see that somebody at Valve is still working on video games.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
It's not really enough to make a full topic, and we're in the after show here, so I'm going to mention it since I mentioned Valve. Did you see that they're open sourcing Team Fortress 2?
I did not see that.
Yeah, there was a news article that went by that said that they were open sourcing TF2 so that people could make games like it.
I need you to just get it to compile.
Okay, maybe. Yeah.
like don't try to change it. I mean, maybe try to change something, but like, can you just get it to compile?
I don't know. That seems like it would be tough.
A lot of work. What's it written in?
Let me see. I'm looking. I'm assuming C++. Yeah, I think it's C++.
I mean, I'm not super surprised by this. Like, I doubt they make any money from TF2 anymore.
Oh, no, not at all.
They've been having all those problems with bots and whatnot. So I wonder if they're just like, hey, we give up. Like, if someone can make this better, go for it.
Yeah. Anyway,
they didn't release it on like GitHub.
No, I don't think so. It's the Source SDK, technically. It's the Source 2013 Source SDK.
But does it include the game?
I think so. There's a TF2 branch of the SDK. It seems.
Got it.
I don't know. Their website, I mean, I've been on the Valve developer website before a very long time ago, now that I'm looking at it, but it is very difficult to navigate and understand what's going on.
It's just like a really bad wiki.
Yes, it's a very bad wiki. Oh, well. Maybe at some point we'll get the source code for Portal. That'd be fun.
Oh, jeez.